Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
The story of Gucci is more than just fashion. It is a story full of drama. Imagine a family with big dreams, big fights, and big problems. This is the Gucci family. They created a famous brand known all over the world. Gucci is now worth a lot of money, about $15 billion. Everyone sees the amazing clothes and bags. It looks like a fairy tale. But behind the beautiful things, there is a real story. It includes family arguments, love, sadness, and even murder. This book will tell you more than just the fairy tale. We will look at the real people and events that made Gucci what it is today. We will see the untold stories and the people who are often forgotten in the story of this famous brand. 2. The family fights. In Italy, people have a saying about family businesses. They say the first generation creates the business. The second generation makes it bigger, and the third generation, they often destroy it. This was almost true for the Gucci family. It all started with Guccio Gucci. He had a dream. He wanted to make beautiful leather goods of high quality. He began by selling them to tourists from America and Europe. His sons, Rodolfo and Aldo, took over the company after him. They each owned 50% of Gucci. Aldo was especially good at growing the business. He was a great marketer and wanted to take Gucci outside of Italy. Then came the third generation. This is when the problems began. Aldo had 3 sons, Roberto, Giorgio, and Paolo. Together, they owned 50% of the company along with their father. Maurizio Gucci, Rodolfo's only son, owned the other 50%. The Gucci family became famous for their arguments. These were not just small disagreements. They were big fights that often ended up in court. Domenico de Sole, a lawyer, knew a lot about this. He started working for Rodolfo in the early 1980s. He saw how complicated the family was. Domenico explained that Aldo's sons felt their father was very important for Gucci's success. They thought they deserved more control than they had. They wanted more than just a part of their father's share. There were many arguments about this for a long time, but in the end, nothing changed. Maurizio kept his 50% of the company. This made the family even angrier. Maurizio had his own ideas for Gucci. He wanted to make it a more luxury brand, focusing on high quality and classic style, but his uncle Aldo and his cousins disagreed. They were happy with how things were. They were making a lot of money from selling licenses to use the Gucci name on many different products. They didn't want to change this. Maurizio also had problems at home. His wife, Patrizia, wanted him to be a powerful businessman, a real Mr. Gucci in Milan. She pushed him hard, but Maurizio felt too much pressure. In 1985, he decided to leave Patrizia. This was a big change in his life and the family. Around the same time, something else happened that shocked the family. Paolo Gucci, Aldo's son, told the tax authorities in America about his father. Paolo thought Aldo was hiding money and not paying enough tax. This started a tax investigation. Domenico de Sole remembers a meeting where Maurizio asked him to explain how serious this was. Domenico said that in America, tax fraud was very serious, unlike in Italy. Some family members didn't believe it was that serious, but Aldo was found guilty and went to prison for tax fraud. After this, Domenico de Sole's role in Gucci became bigger. He was asked to run Gucci America and solve the tax problems. Gucci was still a famous name around the world. Aldo had been clever in opening shops in places like Japan and Hong Kong. But the quality of Gucci products was getting worse. They were selling Gucci in too many places. The brand was becoming less special and less luxurious. The family fights were starting to hurt the Gucci business. It was becoming difficult to control the quality and keep the luxury feeling of the Gucci brand. The family's disagreements were now becoming a problem for everyone. 3. Losing control. Luxury brands are special. They need to be careful to stay special. It's easy to want to sell more and make more money, but if they sell too much, the brand can become less special. Gucci had this problem before. They wanted to be popular everywhere, so they sold in too many places. Sometimes the quality of products was not as good as before. This made the brand feel less exclusive. For luxury brands, it is important to be exclusive. People buy luxury because it feels special. Not everyone can have it. The experience of buying it is also important. People want to feel good when they buy a luxury item. They want good service. They want to trust that the brand is real and good quality. Brands need to protect what makes them special. Maurizio Gucci understood this. He had a clear idea for Gucci. He wanted to make Gucci more high-end. He wanted to sell more expensive and exclusive things. He wanted to make Gucci products of very high quality again. But Maurizio had a problem. He did not have enough money to buy the shares from his family members. They also owned parts of Gucci. Then Maurizio met Andrea Morante. Andrea worked for a bank called Morgan Stanley. Andrea understood that Gucci was a very strong brand. He helped Maurizio to make a plan. The plan was to secretly buy shares from Aldo and his cousins. They also asked a company called Investcorp to help them with money. To buy the shares, they needed information. Maurizio knew a lot about his family. He knew that Paolo Gucci was not happy with his father, Aldo. Paolo felt his father had treated him unfairly. Andrea Morante used this information. He made a deal with Paolo. He offered Paolo the same amount of money as his brothers, even if Aldo had given him fewer shares in the past. Paolo agreed to sell his shares. Andrea even brought a suitcase with cash to pay Paolo quickly. This deal with Paolo was important. It started a big change in Gucci. Other family members saw that things were changing. One by one, they started to sell their shares too. In the end, Investcorp bought 50% of Gucci. Now Maurizio and Investcorp own the company together. Even though Investcorp owned half, they let Maurizio manage Gucci. Maurizio was now in control. He could finally try to make his idea for Gucci a reality. 4. Maurizio's dream and fall. Maurizio now had control of Gucci. He had a dream for the brand. He wanted Gucci to be classic and very high quality. He imagined a Gucci that was elegant and special again. He wanted to make products that were beautiful and well-made, things that felt good to touch. To show his vision, Maurizio opened a new big office in Milan. It was very expensive. He filled it with beautiful, old furniture. He spent a lot of money on everything. Maurizio wanted the best for Gucci, but spending so much money quickly became a problem. Gucci started to have big debts. At the same time, Maurizio made a surprising decision. He stopped making some of Gucci's most popular and profitable products, the GG accessories. These bags and items with the famous GG logo were bringing in a lot of money. But Maurizio thought they were not fancy enough for his new Gucci. This decision hurt Gucci's money. The company started to lose money fast. Gucci was in big trouble. They could not pay their workers or the companies that made their products. Gucci was close to going bankrupt. This meant the company might have to close down because it had no money. Investcorp, the company that owned half of Gucci with Maurizio, became very worried. They had given Maurizio a chance to make his dream happen, but they saw that Gucci was losing more and more money. Investcorp decided they would not give Maurizio any more money. They were afraid they would lose everything. Maurizio asked Investcorp for more time. He believed that Gucci could get better. He said people needed time to see the new, better Gucci. He thought if he had just 6 more months, things would change. He believed that customers, especially in Japan, would start buying Gucci again, but Investcorp did not believe him anymore. They decided to take action. They wanted Maurizio out of Gucci. They worked hard to remove him from his position. In the end, Investcorp bought Maurizio's remaining shares of Gucci. They paid him $150 million. Maurizio lost control of the company he had dreamed of lighting. His dream of a new Gucci led to a financial disaster and his own fall from power. 5. Murder and mystery. In 1995, something terrible happened. Maurizio Gucci was killed. One morning in March, he was walking to his office in Milan. Suddenly, a man came up behind him and shot him. Maurizio died immediately. People were shocked. Who would want to kill Maurizio Gucci? It was a big mystery. The police started to investigate. They looked at Maurizio's business deals. They looked at his family. There had been many fights in the Gucci family. They talked to his cousins and even his ex-wife Patrizia, but at first they found nothing clear. For 2 years the case was cold. This means the police had no good clues and no suspects. Then something changed. Someone gave the police a secret piece of information. Early one morning at 5:30 a.m., police went to Patrizia Gucci's apartment. They arrested her. Why Patrizia? People said she was obsessed with Maurizio. Even after they separated, she was still very interested in his life. She was angry and wanted him out of her life for good. People said she had talked about wanting him dead to many people. The police believed she hired someone to kill him. Maurizio's death was a sad end to his story. He had tried to make Gucci a great brand again. He had a vision, but he lost control of the company. And then he lost his life. The Gucci family story is one of creation, growth, and then, sadly, destruction and tragedy. After 3 generations, the family lost control of the business and suffered a great personal loss. For old and famous luxury brands like Gucci, it's important to have new ideas and fresh thinking. Maurizio, even though his time was difficult, helped set the stage for Gucci's next chapter. But his story is also a reminder of the dark side of family, power, and money. 6. The Tom Ford time. After Maurizio Gucci left, people knew Gucci needed something new. He had already started to make changes. One important thing he did was hire Dawn Mello. She was an American businesswoman who knew fashion. Dawn Mello then hired Tom Ford. At the same time, Domenico de Sole was becoming more important in the company. He had been a lawyer for the Gucci family for a long time. He became the chief operating officer, which means he was in charge of running the business day to day. Domenico de Sole believed in Tom Ford's ideas. He thought Tom Ford could make Gucci great again. Domenico de Sole met with Tom Ford. Tom Ford was young and had new ideas. Domenico de Sole told Tom Ford, "I think we can fix this company." He gave Tom Ford freedom to be creative. Domenico de Sole said, "I am a business person. You are in charge of the creative side." Tom Ford agreed. This was the start of a very successful partnership. People called it the Tom Dom era. Tom Ford changed Gucci a lot. One of the first things he did was bring back the Gucci logo. Maurizio Gucci had stopped using it, but Tom Ford made it fashionable again. He made the logo chic and desirable. Tom Ford designed clothes that were very different. They were sexy and modern. He brought sex appeal back to Gucci. His designs were noticed everywhere. People loved the new Gucci style. Fashion magazines wrote about him. Celebrities wore his clothes. The changes Tom Ford made had a big impact. sales of Gucci clothes and bags went up very quickly. In 1995, sales doubled. The company was making a lot of money. This success was more than anyone expected. Tom Ford and Domenico de Sole worked very well together. Tom Ford had the creative ideas and Domenico de Sole managed the business side. Because Gucci was doing so well, the people who owned part of the company, Investcorp, decided to sell shares to the public. This is called an IPO, or initial public offering. They wanted to sell shares on the stock market. But there was a problem. At that time, not many people who bought and sold stocks knew about the luxury fashion business. Domenico de Sole and his team had to teach them. They explained how the luxury market worked. They showed them why Gucci was a good investment. They even gave presentations to groups of analysts. The Gucci IPO in 1995 was a huge success. The shares were sold for $22 each, but the price quickly went up to $26. Many more people wanted to buy shares than were available. It was a very exciting time. The IPO made a lot of money for Investcorp, more than $2 billion. The Gucci IPO was important for another reason too. It helped to create the luxury goods sector in the financial market. After Gucci, other luxury brands also started selling shares to the public. Gucci showed everyone that luxury fashion could be a very good business and a good investment. The Tom Ford time was a time of great change and success for Gucci. Tom Ford's designs and Domenico de Sole's business skills turned Gucci from a company in trouble into a very successful and fashionable brand again. They brought Gucci back to the top of the fashion world and made it even more famous than before. 7. Battles and buys. After Gucci became a company on the stock market, things changed. Being a public company made Gucci successful, but also more open to problems. If the price of Gucci shares went down, other companies could try to buy Gucci. Around 1997, there was a big money problem in Asia. This was called the Asian financial crisis. Asia, especially Japan, was very important for luxury brands like Gucci. When the crisis happened, people in Asia bought less luxury goods. This made Gucci's shares go down. At this time, a big company called LVMH started to buy Gucci shares. LVMH was run by a businessman named Bernard Arnault. LVMH already owned many famous luxury brands like Louis Vuitton and Dior. They wanted to take control of Gucci. Domenico de Sole, who was in charge of Gucci, did not want this to happen. He was worried about LVMH taking over Gucci without paying a fair price to all the people who owned shares. De Sole saw this as a creeping control, LVMH trying to control Gucci slowly, step by step. He knew LVMH was a big competitor for Gucci. De Sole and his team tried to protect Gucci. They made it harder for LVMH to buy more shares. They did this by giving more shares to the employees of Gucci. This made LVMH's shares worth less. But De Sole knew they could not fight LVMH forever on their own. He needed help. Then another businessman named Francois Pinault came in. Pinault ran a company called PPR, which was also a big retail group. Pinault offered to buy shares in Gucci and become a partner. He was like a white knight coming to rescue Gucci from LVMH. Pinault made a deal with De Sole. PPR bought a big part of Gucci. This stopped LVMH from taking control. But Pinault had a bigger plan than just saving Gucci. He wanted to create a group of many luxury brands like LVMH. He wanted Gucci to be the center of this new group. One of the first big things Pinault did was to buy Yves Saint Laurent, another famous fashion brand. He gave Tom Ford and Domenico de Sole the job of running Yves Saint Laurent as well as Gucci. Pinault wanted them to buy and manage other brands too. After Yves Saint Laurent, Gucci and PPR bought many other brands very quickly. These included Alexander McQueen, Stella McCartney, and Balenciaga. It was a lot of pressure for Tom Ford and Domenico de Sole. They had to run Gucci and Yves Saint Laurent and also manage all these new brands. It was a very busy and challenging time, but it was also the start of Gucci becoming a much bigger and more powerful group in the luxury world. 8. New changes. After 5 years, the agreement with Mr. Pinault was coming to an end. Mr. Pinault decided to buy all of Gucci. He purchased 100% of the company. This meant big changes for Tom Ford and Domenico de Sole. New contracts were offered to Tom and Domenico, but things were different now. They realized they would not have the same freedom as before. They had run Gucci almost like their own company for years. Now Mr. Pinault was in full control. Tom and Domenico thought about this a lot. They decided to leave Gucci. This was a big surprise for everyone in the fashion world. People were shocked. Tom Ford and Domenico de Sole were very successful together. They had changed Gucci completely. Their partnership became very important in the luxury business. They showed how important it was for creative people and business people to work together. This Tom Dom model became a standard for other luxury brands. Many brands tried to copy their successful way of working. Even after Tom and Domenico left, Gucci continued to be successful. Some people wondered if Gucci would fail without them, but Gucci was strong. The brand showed it could change and adapt. Gucci continued to reinvent itself. It changed what sex appeal meant. In the past, Tom Ford made Gucci very sexy in a very direct way. But Gucci changed again. It started to use gender-blending ideas. They used non-binary styles. This new style became popular with young people, especially millennials. This new direction helped Gucci to stay successful. The brand continued to grow and be loved by many people. Gucci proved that it could change with the times and still be a leading fashion brand. Even with new changes, Gucci remained a powerful and exciting name in fashion.
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world.